Welcome to the Infinite Imaginarium, where your digital dreams get turned into reality. Let your mind go, and go deep, deep, deep inside the Imaginarium. The Imaginarium is a place to dream up a new story for humanity. There's a new story waiting to be told. It is a story of human possibilities, what people are capable of doing when we come together. Many of us carry the story inside of us and are afraid to speak it. We tell ourselves we are crazy, but in fact we represent a new sanity. The ideas and practices that can create a future worth living. It is our stories that make sense of the world. If you have no frame of reference, your eyes can't tell the difference, and neither can your brain. The point is that the world we perceive isn't actually the world itself. It is our story of the world, based on our knowledge and what we have learned from others. The world has no meaning by itself. We supply the meaning. We have no choice but to think together, ponder together, in groups and communities. The question is, how do we do this? How do we come together and think and hear each other in order to touch and be touched by the creativity, the intelligence, the activism we need? You have entered the Imaginarium, where ideas roam free, where dreams are painted with reality, because at the end of history, it will be art and beauty that sets consciousness free.
So, most of you guys probably have seen, I posted 2 videos recently. One is called A Path with Heart, and it's from this quote from Carlos Castaneda, and it goes a little something like this.
Anything is one of a million paths. Un camino entre cantidades de caminos. Therefore, you must always keep in mind that a path is only a path. If you feel you should not follow it, you must not stay with it under any conditions. To have such clarity, you must lead a disciplined life. Only then will you know that any path is only a path, and there's no affront to oneself or to others in dropping it if that is what your heart tells you to do. But your decision to keep on the path or to leave it must be free of fear or ambition. I warn you, look at every path closely and deliberately. Try it as many times as you think necessary. Then ask yourself, and yourself alone, one question. Does this path have a heart? All paths are the same. They lead nowhere. They are paths going through the bush or into the bush. Yourself and yourself alone one question. This question is one that only a very old man asks. My benefactor told me about it once when I was young, and my blood was too vigorous for me to understand it. Now I do understand it. I will tell you what it is. Does this path have a heart? All paths are the same. They lead nowhere. They are paths going through the bush or into the bush. In my own life, I could say I have traversed long, long paths, but I'm not anywhere. My benefactor's question has meaning now. Does this path have a heart? If it does, the path is good. If it doesn't, it is of no use. One has a heart, the other doesn't. One makes for a joyful journey as long as you follow. You're one with it. The other will make you curse your life. One makes you strong, the other weakens you.
One question, does this path have heart? Does it? If it does, then it's good. If it doesn't, it's no use. And basically he's trying to say that in life, there's many different roads, and they all lead kind of to the same place. And the only difference is what path calls you in your heart, or kind of moves you deep inside your soul. And this is something that's very difficult, I think, and is in our life and going through the day-to-day, it's kind of difficult. I know, at least for me, it is. And there's another video that I posted recently, and I love this one, and it's by Alan Watts, and he asks, what would you like to do if money were no object? And he kind of tells this to people, to college students graduating, and so what would you really enjoy spending your life?
What do you desire? What makes you itch? What sort of a situation would you like?
Daydream, I fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day. Daydream, I dream of you amid the flowers for a couple of hours. Such a beautiful day.
Let's suppose I do this often in vocational guidance of students. They come to me and say, well, we're getting out of college and we haven't the faintest idea what we want to do. So I always ask the question, what would you like to do if money were no object? So I always ask the question, what would you like to do if money were no object? How would you really enjoy spending your life? Well, it's so amazing. As a result of our kind of educational system, crowds of students say, well, we'd like to be painters, we'd like to be poets, we'd like to be writers, but as everybody knows, you can't earn any money that way.
Daydream, I fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day. Daydream, I dream of you amid the flowers for a couple of hours. Such a beautiful day.
Let's go through with it. What do you want to do? When we finally got down to something which the individual says he really wants to do, I will say to him, you do that, and forget the money. Let's go through with it. What do you want to do? When we finally got down to something which the individual says he really wants to do, because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. Which is stupid.
Daydream, I fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day. Daydream, I dream of you amid the flowers for a couple of hours. Such a beautiful day. Daydream, I fell asleep amid the flowers for a couple of hours on a beautiful day. Daydream, I dream of you amid the flowers for a couple of hours. Such a beautiful day.
Better to have a short life that is full of what you like doing than a long life spent in a miserable way. And after all, if you do really like what you're doing, it doesn't matter what it is, you could eventually become a master of it. It's the only way to become a master of something, to be really with it. And then you'll be able to get a good fee for whatever it is. And so, Therefore, it's so important to consider this question: what do I desire?
And it's amazing that the results of our educational system, that crowds of students say, oh, I would like to be a painter, I would like to be a poet, I would like to be a writer. And they said, but everybody knows you can't earn money doing that. And I am in like this situation where I used to think this way. I remember when I was in college, I was fascinated with Jack Kerouac and the beat writers. And I was kind of a Dharma Bum for a little bit.
I wanted to bring to your notice a piece by a very modern writer indeed. He's from San Francisco. He's of the so-called beat generation. In fact, I have heard him called a beatnik, but I think that's unjust. His name is Jack Kerouac. This is from a book of Jack Kerouac's which is called The Dharma Bums. Apparently, Jack Kerouac, or rather the character in his book, had been around the bars and burlesque shows in San Francisco too much. He had a stomach full of that, so he went high up in the Cascade Mountains to a cabin there to get together with himself. And in the last days of his stay there, he had what amounts to a religious experience. And this is the account of it. Morning, the definite feeling of autumn coming. I'd chop wood with my hat on and would feel lazy and wonderful indoors, fogged in by icy clouds. In front of the stove, I read my Western magazines. Night made hot cocoa and sang by the wood fire. Dark, wild nights with hint of bears. Down in my garbage pit, old soured, solidified cans of evaporated milk, bitten into and torn apart by mightily behemoth paws. And finally the snow came surling my way, sending radiant white heralds through which I saw the angel of light peep and the wind rose. Suddenly a green and rose rainbow shafted right down into Starvation Ridge, not 300 yards away from my door, like a bolt, like a pillar. It came among steaming clouds and orange sun turmoiling. The lake was milk white a mile below. It was just too crazy. I went outside, and suddenly my shadow was ringed by the rainbow as I walked on the hilltop, a lovely haloed mystery, making me want to pray. And I said, God, I love you. And I looked up to the sky, and I really meant it. I have fallen in love with you, God. Take care of us all, one way or the other. Now comes the sadness of coming back to cities, and I've grown 2 months older, and there's all that humanity of bars and burlesque shows and gritty love all upside down in the void. God bless them. And in keeping with my friend Jaffe's habit of always getting down on one knee and delivering a little prayer to the camp we left, the one in the Sierra and the others in Marin County, as I was hiking down the mountain with my pack, I turned and knelt on the trail and said, thank you, Shaq. And then I added, blah, with a little grin, because I knew that Shaq in the mountain would understand what that meant. And I turned and went on down the trail back to this world. Now that isn't bad for a man who's been called a beatnik, is it?
And I always thought, man, I wish I could make money writing or telling stories or doing something like that. And but I knew I couldn't make money for that, or I had this perception that everybody knows you can't make money writing. And there came a certain point where I think, oh, I need to kind of, in my own head, with my own programming said that I need to kind of grow up and get a job and make money and earn a living. And I kind of picked something that I already kind of liked, and this was cooking. And I went into the cooking industry, and I like it, but I don't think it was something. Well, there's two aspects to it. One, the reason why I really like cooking is I like the breaking of bread with people. And I hold these brunches like almost every month, where I have family members, friends, and they all come over to my house, and I cook. And it's more about having this community, having the communing with people, and just hanging out, eating, and talking. That's the aspect of what I really love, and I think that's my path with heart. And it took me a very long road to figure this out. And in a sense, this is where the Minds Panel Show, Infinite Imaginarium, and everything I do on Minds kind of stems from.